Diary of a Wimpy Kid Diper Overlode by JeffKinney. Part 2, page 52 to 78. Things got pretty heated between the two of them, and it took a long time for them to cool down after they were separated. Once that situation was under control, the guys debated which song they should record first. Bill thought it should be Can You Smell Us Now, because he likes the line that goes, "We're leaking through your speakers like a chocolate cow." But Drew said that line didn't even make sense, because there's no such thing as a chocolate cow. So Bill went after Drew, and then those two had to be separated. Roderick decided the song should be Diaper Overload, which was the first one he ever wrote, and I guess the other guys were tired of fighting because they agreed. But it didn't take long for a new problem to crop up. While Drew and Bill were arguing about song lyrics, Mackie accidentally dropped his pick into the hole in the middle of an acoustic guitar, and then the guys took turns trying to get the pick back out. I can't even tell you how much time that took. Rattle, rattle. Eventually, Drew managed to shake the pick free, but went straight down Bill's throat. And it was kind of scary for a minute. Luckily, Mackie knew some sort of maneuver to get the pig dislodged from Bill's throat. All I can say is that I'm glad there was a window between the engineer's booth and the room where the band was. Bill was badly shaken up and he said he wanted some time to recover, but Roderick said they really needed to get going if they wanted to record a whole album. So everyone picked up their instruments and got in their places, and the engineer hit record. Roderick played the drum into Diaper Overload, and then Mackie and Drew started in with their guitars. But Bill only made it through 2 or 3 verses before he had to stop, because apparently that guitar pick really did a number on his throat. Somebody got Bill a bottle of water, and a few minutes later he was good to go. And the second time around, they managed to get all the way through the song without Bill choking. And you ain't being this covered since the last time it snowed. After that, Roderick and his bandmates were feeling pretty confident, and they were ready to rip through the rest of their songs. But the engineer said they'd have to come back and do it another day because their time was up. So I guess if they wanted to finish their album, Bill's gonna have to ask his grandma for a few more months of credit on his rent. Saturday. The guys were pretty bummed they wasted so much time at the studio the other day, but they were glad they got that one song down. Because that meant they could make a music video, which was their goal to begin with. They didn't have any money to produce their own video, but what they did have was a gift certificate that Mackie's little sister never ended up using. But it turns out Shooting Star Studio doesn't do videos for original songs. They have a menu of songs you have to choose from, and I don't think the guys were all that thrilled with the selection. Videos: Best Friend, Gossip, Puppy Love, Late for School, Cute New Boy, Beach Day. Bill wanted to do the song about gossip, but Roderick wanted to do one about being late for school because it sounded the most rock and roll. But Mackie said he got to make the decision because it was his sister's gift certificate. And even though I doubt they'll ever show the video they made to anyone, it looked like they had a lot of fun doing it. Loaded Diaper, Beach Day. Wednesday. The guys were disappointed that they didn't get to make a music video they could use, but they realized that they still had a song, and there was a lot they could do with that. They figured if they could get a radio station to play Diaper Overload, then that would be even better than posting a music video online. So they took their song to a bunch of local radio stations, but most of their places they visited said it wasn't good fit for their listeners. Glam 102, today's pop hits. They probably should have done a better job researching some of the stations they visited though, because it would have saved them a lot of time driving around. Roderick said the problem wasn't that their song was bad, it was that the people who chose what to put on the radio have terrible taste in music. So he decided that if they wanted to get their music heard, they were just going to have to get creative. Roderick said there are a lot of places that play songs beside radio stations. So they made a list of everywhere they've ever heard music in public. Gas station, sports arena, grocery store, mall, elevator, fast food restaurant, electronics store, dentist office. The guys spent a few days working the phones trying to track down the people who may make the decisions on these kind of things, but they just hit a bunch of dead ends. So they drove around town to try and find the right people to talk to. But that didn't get them anywhere either. After that, they started talking to people they actually knew, but nobody was willing to play their song. Then they had a breakthrough. Drew's older brother worked at the deli counter at the grocery store, and he had assessed the sound system in the back office. So the guys finally got to hear their music in public for the first time. Yes, it's a diaper overload, and he ain't being discovered since the last time it snowed. But the song only played for about 30 seconds before the deli manager shut it off. And I guess he wasn't a fan of that kind of music, because he fired Drew's brother before his shift was even over. The guys were pretty frustrated they couldn't get anyone to play their song, but then Bill said maybe they needed to take a different approach. He said TV commercials usually have music in them, and maybe they could convince some company to use Loaded Diapers music for one of their ads. Can you smell us now? Fresh scoops, kitty litter. Fresh scoops. Can you smell us now? Bill said if they were lucky, they might even get their pictures on some packaging. But Roderick said that once Millet Chihuahua started going down, that rate, it was the beginning of the end for them. Meaty chunks, it's yummy! Natura block. Canine, dewormer. Works on people too, not for human use. But I bet if Bill could get his face on some packaging, he'd jump at the chance. Late bloomers, toddler diapers. Tuesday. Last week, Loaded Diaper finally caught a lucky break. When Roderick went down to the junkyard to see if he could find some doors to replace the ones on his van, he found a replacement vehicle. Somebody had abandoned an old ice cream van at the junkyard, and the guy who owned the place told Roderick he could have it for free if he could get it out. And even though the van was rusted, it still ran. The guys were excited because there's plenty of room inside the van for all their band equipment, and this means they can actually start doing shows again. But the thing they were most excited about was the speaker on top of the vehicle. And when Roderick brought the van home, the guys spent the weekend cruising around town, blasting their music. After they got tired of that, they started calling different clubs to find someone who would hire them to do a show. But it's been a long time since Loaded Diaper actually played anywhere, and none of the places they called had even heard of them. So Roderick and the guys have been trying to think of ways to get themselves noticed. The other night they drove around playing their music from the roof of their ice cream van, but they didn't get to pass the elementary school, which recently installed speed bumps in the drop-off zone. Roderick said that if Loaded Diaper really wanted to make a splash, they were going to have to start thinking a lot bigger. He said that when Millet Chihuahua was starting out, they played a concert from the rooftop of a building in the middle of the city, and it caused a huge scene. The police and fire departments shut them down, but by the time they did, Millet Chihuahua was already all over the news. The band got fined for disturbing the peace, and even spent the night in jail. Then they used their mug shots on the cover of their first album, Millet Chihuahua. Taylor Stewart. His real name is Stuart Taylor. Sleeves Sebastian. Actually, Sebastian Sleeves. Sprinter Warwick. Actually, Warwick Sprinter. Barnes Wayne. Actually, Wayne Barnes. Millet Chihuahua Dog Collard. Roderick's big idea was to do a show from the top of the same Millet Chihuahua played on 30 years ago. Maggie wasn't crazy about the idea though, because he said that getting arrested wouldn't look good on his college applications. But Roderick said that the minute they saw the police coming, they'd take off. And I guess Mackie wanted to be a team player, because he agreed to go along with it. So this afternoon, the guys packed up the ice cream van with all their equipment and drove downtown. The plan was to use the elevator to get to the rooftop, but security has got a lot tighter since that rooftop concert. So Roderick and his bandmates didn't even get past the lobby. Security, all visitors must sign in. The guys weren't ready to give up, though, so they parked in an alleyway and waited by a side door until someone came out. Then they started making up their way up the stairwell with their equipment, but that turned out to be a lot harder than they thought it would. Band. Bill wanted to turn around and find a building that didn't have so many floors, but Roderick said they were already committed and they just needed to keep going. After taking lots of breaks between floors, they finally got up onto the rooftop. Then they set up all their equipment but couldn't find any electrical outlets for their speakers and guitars. So Roderick tried to get the lady who lived in the apartment one floor below to let them use her outlet. Shake! The guys thought the lady was going to call the cops, and they all got spooked. So they gathered up their gear and went back down the stairwell. It should have been easier going down than coming up, but they were in a rush. Their getaway didn't get that smoothly. As soon as the guys made it back out to the alley with all their gear, they started loading it into the ice cream van. But that's when a police car drove up and blocked them in. No! The guys started freaking out because they thought they were about to get arrested for trespassing, but turns out the cop didn't even know they'd been up on the roof. The police officer told them they were parked in a loading fine, which comes with a $50 fine. But I guess she felt sorry for them because she left them off without just a warning. Parking violation, blocking a loading zone, $50. Tick, warning, we waived. And even though Loaded Diaper didn't get the publicity, they were hoping for. They're already talking about using their run-in with the law for their first album. Loaded Diaper, Roderick, Drew, Mackie, Bill.